Welcome, eternal transfer. Chosen one, you were pulled into this moment by a divine arrangement, an invisible thread woven through time, guiding you into the exact Kairos hour meant for your awakening. What you are feeling right now, that stirring in your chest, that quiet intensity rising in your spirit, it is heaven confirming that you are standing on the threshold of a supernatural financial breakthrough. A divine transfer prepared long before you ever prayed for it. Chosen one, this is not just another video. This is a summons, a calling, a prophetic alignment. The veil is thin, the atmosphere is shifting, and the season that once felt delayed is beginning to accelerate toward you. As it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, the vision waits for its appointed time, and when that time comes, it does not fail. And chosen one, your appointed time is no longer approaching. It has arrived. Allow these words to settle into your spirit with holy reverence. Take a breath. Open your heart. You are stepping into a divine encounter designed to awaken, to confirm, and to propel you into the very breakthrough your soul has been sensing. Tonight, heaven speaks, and your spirit answers, chosen ones. As you step beyond the threshold of this moment, I want you to breathe in the weight of what is unfolding within you, not around you, within you. Because the first sign that heaven is intervening is not external change, but internal stirring. Chosen one, you have felt this for weeks, months, maybe even years. That quiet pull, that restless awareness, that strange sense that something in your life was about to shift, even when nothing in the natural world gave you a reason to expect it. That was not anxiety, that was alignment. That was the spirit preparing you for a divine transition long before your mind understood it. Chosen ones, hear me. Heaven always moves in silence before it manifests in sight, before breakthrough appears in the physical. It is conceived in the unseen, like the way dawn always begins in darkness, like the way a seed splits underground before it pushes through soil. And you, yes, you have been in that hidden phase. You wondered why things felt heavy. You wondered why people pulled away. You wondered why opportunities that once flowed dried up suddenly. I have lived that season myself. I remember asking, God, why is everything slowing down, only to later realize that heaven slows you to position you. Slows you so you don't run into places you have outgrown. Slows you so your spirit can hear what your busyness used to drown out. Slows you because acceleration is coming next. Chosen ones, that is exactly the season you're walking into now, divine acceleration. The kind that doesn't make sense on paper, the kind that bypasses logic, the kind that humbles you because you know you didn't make it happen. It was handed to you, a supernatural financial breakthrough, a shift in favor, a divine transfer prepared for you long before you even had the language to pray for it. Chosen one, heaven is not asking you to strive for this. Heaven is inviting you to align with it. And alignment begins with awareness. You are not watching this because you are desperate. You are here because you are ready. Something in your spirit has been saying, this time, it will be different. Something in your heart has whispered, this isn't like the other seasons. And that whisper is correct, because the delay you once hated has matured into timing, divine timing, the kind described in sacred text. When it says that vision waits for an appointed moment, and when that moment arrives, it rushes, it manifests, it speaks. Chosen ones, your moment is speaking now. But listen carefully, every divine transfer requires a vessel prepared to carry it. And heaven has been preparing you through experiences that felt unfair, painful, or confusing. Think back. Chosen one, every rejection you faced purified your motives. Every disappointment sifted your desires. Every closed door redirected your steps. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. And every lonely night trained you to hear heaven without needing applause. You thought those seasons were punishment, but they were preparation. your preparation. I remember a time when everything around me collapsed at once. Friendships fell apart, income dried up, my plans shattered. At first, I felt abandoned. But looking back, I see it clearly. Heaven was pruning me, clearing space, making room for assignments I couldn't yet see, chosen ones. I share that because many of you are in that same transition. Heaven doesn't prune what is dying. Heaven prunes what is about to bear fruit. And that fruit, your fruit, is financial breakthrough, spiritual elevation, clearer intuition, deeper authority, and a supernatural grace that will rest on everything you touch in this next season. But before heaven releases increase, heaven ensures identity. You cannot carry abundance with a mindset still shaped by scarcity. You cannot walk in favor if you still see yourself as forgotten. You cannot rise in purpose if you still believe the lies spoken over you when you were wounded. Chosen ones. This is why heaven has brought you to His word to remind you who you are, to call you out of limitation, to unlock the part of your spirit that remembers destiny even when your emotions forget. You are not behind. You are not late. You are becoming. And becoming always precedes blessing. Chosen one. Pause and let that truth settle, because what is coming next will require a heart awake, a spirit attentive, and a willingness to receive. The transfer is real. The timing is now, and your preparation has already begun. Chosen ones, now that your spirit has recognized the shift, we must go deeper into what heaven is truly doing inside you. Because the divine transfer you are approaching is not simply about money or opportunity. Those are only the visible signs. The real breakthrough is happening in the architecture of your spirit, chosen one. Heaven is rewiring the way you see yourself, the way you make decisions, the way you interpret signs, and the way you carry responsibility. This is why the last season felt so intense. Heaven was not breaking you. Heaven was building you. Think about it. There were moments when you felt as if everything in your life was being stripped away. Relationships that once felt stable suddenly fractured. Work environments shifted. People you trusted revealed their true colors. And even your own emotions seemed inconsistent. One day full of faith, the next day full of questions. Chosen ones. This is what spiritual remodeling feels like. When heaven is upgrading your identity, the old version of you cannot remain intact. The walls must fall. The foundations must be exposed. The outdated structures must dissolve. This is the cost and the beauty of transformation. Chosen one. Let me remind you of something I learned through my own wilderness. God does his deepest work in seasons where nothing seems to be happening. When your phone is silent, when doors don't open, when prayers feel unanswered, when you wake up with that emptiness in your chest and wonder if you missed something. But in those silent spaces, heaven is most active. That is where roots grow. That is where identity forms. That is where strength is born. And you, yes, you have been in that hidden chamber of transformation far longer than you realized. The reason you have not collapsed under the weight of your battles is because heaven kept strengthening you behind the scenes. The reason you still feel compassion after betrayal is because your heart was being expanded. The reason you still hope, even after disappointment, is because faith was being carved deeper into your spirit. Chosen ones. This is the evidence that the anointing on your life has been maturing. And now heaven is shifting you from preparation into activation. But activation requires awareness. This is why heaven is drawing your attention inward. Chosen ones, pay attention to what has been happening inside you lately. Not outside, but inside. You've noticed your intuition sharpening. You've sensed warnings before they occurred. You've felt sudden peace in situations that used to overwhelm you. You've recognized patterns that once blinded you. These are not coincidences. These are signs of spiritual alignment. Alignment is the true mark of someone ready for divine transfer. Because heaven does not pour abundance into a disorganized spirit. Heaven does not release mission into a distracted mind, and heaven does not elevate someone who still doubts their worth. Chosen ones. The transfer begins the moment you believe you are worthy of receiving it, not because of your perfection, but because of your identity. You were chosen, you were shaped, you were preserved. Chosen one, Pawn. You didn't survive what others didn't so that you could collapse now. You survived so you could be entrusted with influence, entrusted with provision, entrusted with wisdom, entrusted with authority, entrusted with assignments no one else can carry. Heaven has not been withholding from you. Heaven has been streamlining you. And now you are entering a phase where what used to drain you will no longer have access to you. You will outgrow environments that once trapped you. You will lose taste for distractions that once consumed your time. You will naturally separate from people who cannot follow you into your next level, not because of conflict, but because of calling. When heaven elevates you, alignment becomes painful. Misalignment becomes obvious. Chosen ones. The reason relationships shifted, the reason connections dissolved, the reason old desires faded is simple. You cannot carry dead weight into a divine season. Heaven is too intentional for that. Chosen one, listen. Your spirit has been warning you. That uneasiness you felt around certain people, that was discernment. That heaviness you felt in certain places, that was spiritual misalignment. That internal nudge that said, leave now, even when you didn't understand why, that was protection. You have been guided this entire time, and now heaven is positioning you, positioning your heart, positioning your mindset, positioning your environment, and soon, Tom, positioning your resources. But before heaven places abundance in your hands, heaven must first place clarity in your identity. Chosen one. Let this truth settle you. Are stepping into a season where what once resisted you will now recognize you. What once ignored you will now respond to you. What once hindered you will now move aside for you. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. The divine transfer is already unfolding. Chosen ones. Now that the deeper layers of alignment have been revealed, heaven is calling you to understand something even more profound. Your spiritual identity has been awakening long before your mind caught up. This is why certain moments in your life felt strangely familiar. Even though you had never experienced them before, your spirit recognized what your mind could not yet explain. Chosen one. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt whether it was safe or not? Before anyone spoke a word, have you ever sensed a shift in someone's energy, even when their face showed a smile? Have you ever felt heaviness in your chest around certain people, or sudden peace around others? Without knowing why, these were not mood swings. They were signals. They were proof that your spirit has always been awake. And now those signals are becoming clearer, sharper, more precise. This is part of the divine upgrade that comes before every supernatural transfer. Heaven is teaching you how to navigate by intuition, not by sight, by resonance, not by logic, by inner knowing, not by external noise. Chosen ones. This next part is important. Your spirit has been carrying memories your mind has not yet unlocked. This is why certain teachings feel like reminders rather than information. Why certain prophetic words feel like confirmation instead of revelation. Why certain numbers, dreams, symbols, or whispers feel like deja vu. It is remembrance. Your soul is waking up to the identity heaven wrote over you before you were born. And with remembrance comes responsibility. Chosen one. Your life cannot remain the same after this awakening. You are no longer able to tolerate what drains your spirit. You cannot stay in rooms where truth is silenced. You cannot engage in conversations that shrink your soul. You cannot pretend you do not see what you clearly see. The seal of heaven sharpens perception. And once your eyes open, you cannot close them again. This is why people have been reacting strangely to you. Some are drawn to you without knowing why. They feel peace in your presence. They feel seen. understood, grounded. They sense the ancient wisdom in you, but others feel uncomfortable, intimidated, exposed. They may distance themselves or act in ways that confuse you. Chosen ones, this has nothing to do with your worth. It has everything to do with your wavelength. You carry a frequency that disturbs what is misaligned and strengthens what is true. And this frequency is rising. Chosen one, your energy has shifted so dramatically that even those who once overlooked you are beginning to sense something different. Your silence carries weight. Your gaze carries clarity. Your words carry authority. Even your presence carries a subtle power not born of ego, but of alignment. This is evidence that the spiritual transfer has already begun. But listen closely, because this next truth is where many chosen ones stumble. As your light increases, so does the demand for your discernment. Not everyone who admires you is aligned with you. Not everyone who praises you is meant to walk with you. Some are drawn to your light but cannot carry it. Others want what you have without honoring what shaped you. This is why heaven has been teaching you separation. Not everyone can go where you are going. Chosen ones. You must understand this when heaven elevates you. Isolation is not punishment. It is preparation. In moments when you felt abandoned, you were actually being hidden. God was pulling you away from voices that would distort your identity. You were being protected from influences that would dilute the anointing on your life. Chosen one. You were not lonely. You were being purified, because before a divine transfer, heaven quiets your atmosphere so you can hear your true instructions. And now you are beginning to notice the signs. Your boundaries are becoming firmer. Your priorities are becoming clearer. Your tolerance for chaos is disappearing. Your desire for purpose is intensifying. Your hunger for truth is increasing. Your sensitivity to spiritual misalignment is amplifying. These are not personality changes. These are prophetic indicators. Your spirit is preparing for stewardship because what you are about to carry requires maturity, clarity, emotional balance, and spiritual strength. Heaven is not releasing abundance randomly. Heaven releases it to those whose character can hold it without collapsing. Chosen ones. Hear this deeply. Your next season will not require a louder version of you, but a clearer version, a truer version, a surrendered version. Because the divine transfer you are stepping into is not meant to impress people. It is meant to impact destiny. Chosen one. This is the hour where heaven aligns opportunity with identity, calling with capacity, and timing with readiness. You are not being lifted to escape the world, but to influence it. And every trial you survived has equipped you for this responsibility. The divine transfer is not coming. It is already unfolding inside you. Chosen ones. Now that the inner awakening has begun, heaven is shifting you into a new dimension of spiritual awareness. One where your external world begins to reflect the transformation happening inside you. You may have already noticed that things around you feel different. Relationships feel different. Even time feels different. This is not imagination. It is evidence that the atmosphere around your life is being rearranged to match what heaven has declared over you. Chosen one. Have you felt the subtle pull away from certain environments? Places that once felt familiar but now feel heavy, draining, or spiritually loud. That's because your spirit is rising to a frequency that can no longer blend with confusion or chaos. What once felt acceptable now feels intolerable. What once felt normal now feels misaligned. This is spiritual evolution, not emotional instability. And with this evolution comes clarity. Chosen ones, the divine transfer you are approaching requires a spirit that can discern truth even when it is whispered. This is why heaven is sharpening your intuition. Notice how quickly you now detect dishonesty. Notice how your body reacts to people with hidden intentions. Tightness in the chest, sudden fatigue, or a quiet knowing that something is off. Notice how peace floods you instantly around those who are aligned with your destiny. You are not imagining this. You are perceiving on a higher level. For years, your spirit absorbed the noise of others, their expectations, their projections, their fears. But now, those voices are losing their grip. Heaven is restoring your internal compass so you can walk with authority instead of confusion. Chosen one. This is why old friendships have fallen away. Not because you are better, but because you are different. Not because they were evil, but because they were tied to a version of you that no longer exists. Your spirit is emerging. And with emergence comes a natural separation from anything that cannot honor your evolution. And hear this, you do not need to chase those who walked away. Distance is also divine. Silence is also direction. Chosen ones. Heaven often removes people before elevating you. Not to hurt you, but to protect the oil on your life. Some people love the insecure version of you because they felt safer when you were small. Others tolerated you only when you doubted yourself. But now that your spirit is rising, their comfort cannot contain your calling. This is why rejection felt so painful. It was actually redirection. Chosen one. Every person who exited your life created space for someone heaven is preparing to enter. Your alignment attracts your tribe. Your frequency summons your soul family. Your authenticity opens the door for relationships built not on convenience, but on purpose. And soon, the right people will begin appearing. People who speak the language of your destiny. People who see your potential without requiring explanation. People who don't shrink when your light shines brighter. People who feel like home because they carry the same mark. Chosen ones. This is the season where heaven brings divine connections, the kind that accelerate your calling, sharpen your gifts, and expand your vision. Connections that are not random but orchestrated with precision. You will recognize them instantly, not by appearance but by resonance. Spirit recognizes spirit. Light recognizes light. Purpose recognizes purpose. And with these connections comes something even greater: alignment with your assignment. Chosen one. Heaven is preparing to place you where your gifts can flourish. You may begin to feel drawn toward new responsibilities, new opportunities, new forms of service that once would have intimidated you. But now, instead of fear, you feel a quiet confidence rising from within. That confidence is not ego. It is evidence that your spirit is awakening to its mission. Chosen ones. Your voice will begin to carry new weight. Your presence will begin to shift rooms. Your ideas will begin to open doors. All because heaven is activating the leadership buried inside you. This awakening is not a reward. It is a signal that heaven is ready to entrust you with more. You are being positioned for influence. Not worldly influence built on noise, but divine influence built on truth, compassion, clarity, and purpose. Influence that uplifts, strengthens, and awakens others. Chosen one. You must prepare your heart for this elevation. Will require you to stand differently. It will require grace where others choose bitterness. It will require wisdom where others choose impulse. It will require love where others choose ego. This is the cost of the marked ones. This is the weight of the chosen. This is the beginning of your divine assignment. Chosen ones. The shift is not coming. It is here, and you are walking straight into it. Chosen ones. As the shift deepens around you, another layer of your awakening is beginning. One that unfolds not in the visible world, but in the unseen realm where destiny is shaped. This is the realm where heaven designs your steps, where purpose is refined, and where the true weight of your calling begins to rest upon you. Chosen one, the divine transfer that is approaching is not simply financial or situational. It is spiritual. Before heaven places abundance in your hands, it places authority in your spirit. Before the breakthrough manifests outwardly, it solidifies inwardly. This is why your inner world has been shifting with such intensity. The transformation within you is not emotional turbulence. It is preparation. Have you noticed how your spirit reacts differently now? How conversations drain you faster when they lack depth? How negativity feels heavier than before? How your tolerance for chaos has decreased? Chosen one, that is the sign of spiritual refinement. You are being prepared to carry something weighty, something that requires clarity, purity, and emotional maturity. Heaven cannot place abundance into the hands of someone still tied to old patterns. So the old patterns are being broken off you, not by force, but by revelation. You may find yourself suddenly uninterested in distractions that once consumed your time. Entertainment feels shallow. Arguments feel pointless. Gossip feels toxic. Your soul is craving higher things because you are being elevated into a higher realm of responsibility. Chosen ones, heaven is not just giving you blessings. Heaven is making you into a blessing. And part of that transformation is spiritual discernment, the ability to sense what others cannot see. You will begin recognizing people's intentions before they speak. You will feel the atmosphere of a room the moment you walk in. You will sense the presence of opportunities and the danger of traps with accuracy that surprises even you. This is not paranoia. This is spiritual sensitivity. This is the mark awakening within you. Heaven sharpens your perception because your assignment requires clarity. You cannot lead others if you yourself remain blind. You cannot lift others out of darkness if you still mistake darkness for light. And so heaven is training your inner eye to distinguish between what is divine, what is deceptive, and what is merely distracting. Chosen one, do not ignore these inner nudges. They are not random thoughts. They are spiritual guidance. Another sign of this season is the purification of desires. Things you once chased now chase you. Things you once feared now bow to your authority. Heaven is removing counterfeit opportunities so the real ones can find you. Not everything that glitters is divine. Not every open door is an appointed door. This is why certain opportunities collapsed. They were not tied to your destiny, chosen ones. The divine transfer is not just a financial shift. It is a shift in identity, a shift in assignment, a shift in spiritual rank. You are stepping into a level of influence that requires emotional discipline, spiritual grounding, and unwavering faith. That is why heaven has been stretching you, not to break you, but to grow you, not to weaken you, but to strengthen you for the mantle you are about to carry. Think about your recent journey, the battles that almost broke you, strengthened your endurance. The people who betrayed you sharpened your discernment. The delays that frustrated you refined your patience. The losses that hurt you purified your attachment. All of it was preparation. None of it was wasted. Chosen one, heaven has been molding you into a vessel capable of carrying the weight of divine destiny. The spotlight you are stepping into is not for performance, but for purpose. You are being positioned as a pillar, someone others will lean on, someone whose presence carries peace, clarity, and authority. And now, chosen ones, the refinement phase is nearing its completion. Your spirit is stabilizing. Your clarity is sharpening. Your authority is rising. The mantle of assignment is being fastened to you. You are not becoming who you were. You are becoming who heaven always intended you to be. Chosen ones, now that your spirit has been awakened and your inner foundation strengthened, heaven is shifting you into the next phase, the phase of activation. This is where everything that has been forming inside you begins to take shape outwardly, not in chaos, not in confusion, but in divine order and perfect timing. Chosen one, the stirring you feel lately is not random. The clarity arriving at unexpected hours. The sudden peace after long seasons of heaviness. The way circumstances are beginning to rearrange themselves. These are signs that heaven is positioning you for what comes next. You are stepping into a moment where revelation becomes movement and calling becomes action. Heaven never marks a soul to stand still. Heaven marks a soul to rise. And now you are rising. You may have noticed it already. People approach you differently. Your presence carries more weight. Your words land deeper than before. Your silence even speaks with authority. This is the evidence of the seal beginning to show, not as something visible on the skin, but as a shift in your atmosphere. The struggles you endured were not wasted. They crafted discernment. They built compassion. They sharpened your vision. Heaven used every tear, every betrayal, and every unanswered prayer to prepare you for the mantle now resting on your life. You are stepping into influence, not the influence of ego, but the influence of impact. Chosen ones. Your intuition will become sharper in this season. You will sense things before they happen. You will feel guidance in moments that used to confuse you. You will recognize opportunities with immediate clarity. Your peace will become your confirmation. Where once you hesitated, you will now move with certainty. Where once you doubted, you will now discern. Where once you felt small, you will now recognize your authority. Heaven is sending you into spaces where your light is needed. Sometimes your assignment will be big and visible. Sometimes it will be small and silent, but both carry the same spiritual weight. Chosen one. The divine transfer also becomes tangible in this phase. Resources, ideas, connections, and opportunities will begin to align around your calling, not because you are chasing them, but because heaven is delivering them. Provision follows purpose. Heaven funds what heaven assigns. You will feel a shift in your desires too. What once entertained you will feel empty. What once drained you will fall away. Your spirit will crave environments that strengthen your mission. This is not loss. It is alignment. And hear this clearly. Your activation is not about being perfect. It is about being willing. Heaven moves through surrendered vessels, not flawless ones, chosen ones. As activation unfolds, walk with humility but unshakable confidence. Move slowly enough to hear heaven, yet boldly enough to obey it. Trust the signs, trust the timing, trust the seal placed upon you. Your life is no longer defined by surviving. It is now defined by assignment. You are stepping into the identity you were destined to carry. You are becoming the version of yourself heaven always saw. Chosen ones, as we step into the sacred closing, let your spirit recognize the divine weight of this moment. You are not ending a video. You are crossing a threshold. This is your Kairos hour, the appointed moment when heaven's timing collides with your readiness. Just as it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, the vision speaks at its set time, and chosen ones. That time is unfolding now. The supernatural transfer has already begun. What was delayed is being released. What was hidden is being revealed. The peace settling in your chest, the clarity rising in your thoughts, the quiet fire awakening inside you. These are confirmations that heaven is aligning your path. So I speak this blessing over you. May peace guard your mind. May favor chase your steps. May wisdom guide your decisions. May strength rise where weariness once lived. And may the oil of purpose flow over everything you touch. Chosen ones, move forward with reverence and expectation. Stay faithful, stay aligned, stay sensitive to the whispers of the Spirit, for the coming days carry holy significance. Guard your heart from noise. Walk with gratitude, for gratitude multiplies every divine release. If this word has echoed what you already felt in your spirit, comment the number that has been pursuing you, 700-444-333 or 999. As a prophetic sign of agreement, go in authority. Chosen ones, you are sealed. You are sent. You are not alone.